Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hi everybody!
Hello everyone!
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman, which is not David Bell.
That's true. This is a fact.
It's a different name. It's a totally different name.
Mm-hmm. And we just watched Poolhall Junkies. It's like
Pool Junkies.
It's like train spotting for pool. That's what it's like.
To master the game, you need passion.
What do you say we bump the bet? Play this one for 20.
5. You need talent.
I never said anything like it. You beat them, you take their money, and they love you.
But most of all,
You play pool, Mike?
A little. Why do you ask?
you need inspiration.
It's like a lot of things.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Hold on. This is from a Patreon subscriber.
This is a We Just Watch Classic.
Yes, it's a Thursday where we got this from Neil Miller. Neil Miller pointed to us and said, "You watch Poolhall Junkies now, fuckers."
And I wanna before we get into it, we acquiesced to Neil Miller's request because, you know, rules are rules and them's fair.
Yeah.
He really wanted us to watch this movie, and this movie was very hard to watch. It's not streaming anywhere.
Yep.
The only way you can watch it is by ordering a copy from Amazon. I had to order my copy from Britain because I couldn't get a Region 1 DVD of this. I had to get a Region 2 DVD of this.
It's probably covered in tea.
Yeah, it's all like tea and
Sopping with
biscuity.
tea.
I got like the vague scent of like imperialism from it.
We went to him and we were like, "Are you sure? Because this is hard to find." And he was like, "It's fine. I'll wait."
Right,
So he waited.
It took weeks for my copy to arrive. Like I ordered this over a month ago.
Yeah, there's no Blu-ray. It's just a DVD, which is surprising considering the cast of this movie.
Right, it's got Chaz Palminteri, Christopher Walken, Michael Rosenbaum to a lesser degree, Rick Schroeder. Yeah,
it is the last film of Rod Steiger.
Is
kind of incredible, and he's so saucy. He died a month after this movie premiered, and he's still got the fire in him. I mean, yeah, he's not looking too good.
Well, I mean, it's not that he's looking bad. It's just there's a. Actually, he died a month after it premiered.
Yeah.
Okay. So I retract my statement. There is an edit in the third act that is very janky and weird and embarrassing involving Rod Steiger, and I assumed it was because he died before they could do reshoots.
Oh no, I don't think. Well, I mean, maybe. No, because he died after the premiere.
If he died after it premiered and they didn't alter it any.
It's more possible that he was like, I don't want to do any more of this shit. He didn't die. He died from complications during surgery. It was like old people complications, though. So it's like he might have had declining health issues that couldn't allow reshoots as well.
He didn't look bad in this movie. He just looks old.
Yeah, that's Rod Steiger. He's a fucking firecracker to the end. Tom, what did you think of this movie?
I hated this movie.
Really?
I actively hated this movie. Every second of this film, I hated.
Wow. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel hate. I actually enjoyed some of this movie because
I liked the pool stuff, like all the pool shots. Like where they were doing like cool trick stuff and stuff like that. I liked all that, but I thought the characters were insufferable. The writing was very much, I want to be Quentin Tarantino and I'm a filmmaker in the early 2000s. Like it reminded me a lot of Boondock Saints in that way.
Yes. It's weird, the Tarantino comparison, because I picked up on that immediately, but the directing isn't anywhere. It's not trying to
different.
be Tarantino.
No, the directing is different. The writing is trying to be Tarantino.
Well, I would argue some of the writing is, and some of it's not. because they don't do these long. Like it does. Again, it doesn't. It feels definitely inspired by Tarantino, but it doesn't feel like a bad imitation, I guess. Except
really, to me,
except for
like,
the one scene that we'll get into.
Oh, there's more than just the one scene. To me, this felt like a film school student being like, I'm going to make a Tarantino movie, and I'm going to copy a lot of the scenes he does, but I'm going to do them way worse.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to make any sense. Every character in the movie is going to be thoroughly unlikable.
Yeah, we'll get to the character stuff. I
hated this movie.
It actually reminded me, because Tarantino films are more of this like web of things happening.
Yes,
this isn't that. It's not like heisty. It's not twisty. It reminded me more of like a Linklater film, or see, this was here's the biggest surprise about this movie was that it's made in 2002.
Yes, it feels like a 1997 film.
Yes. It was written 10 years before they shot it.
That makes sense.
Yes. The main character is played by Mars Callahan, who is also the director and writer. Now, he is an actual like pool shark guy. Like, he did Pool Tricks, and he co-wrote it with someone else. So right away I was like, oh, don't fucking act. Like, don't star, write, and direct this film. But I get at least, okay, they needed someone to do Pool Tricks. It reminds me of like a kung fu film, you know, where like they get a guy who's like Jim Cotta, where it's like, this guy can do a very specific skill. Let's write a movie around it.
Yeah, exactly. Except this guy was like, I can do a thing. Let me write a movie around how cool I am.
Yes.
And how cool the thing I do is.
And that's where I was heading to, is it reminds me of like the 90s hangout films, like Dazed and Confused, where there is a plot, but it's mostly like, look how much fun we're having. Look at us.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, look at us hanging out.
There is barely a plot to this film.
Yes, and I have a soft spot for that specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I see why people like this movie. Was a very small movie. Obviously, it's obscure, like we were talking about. It was very hard to find. It has like a cult following, and I get it. Yeah. Like, I understand what the appeal is. I fucking hate this kind of movie.
Well, the characters are tough because
the characters are all
main guy.
Oh my god!
He's named Johnny. His what's his fucking brother's name? It's like Tommy.
Yeah, like Danny.
It's two of those. And they're just such identical honkies. It's Danny and Johnny. They look like a poor man's Ben and Casey Affleck, which isn't a good thing.
No, it's an extremely bad thing.
Like, they're not likable.
No, not at all. He is like Johnny, our main character, is particularly like he looks scummy. He's like he acts. He like went to the acting school of like talking in a quasi New York accent.
Yeah, and then the lady who played Tara, she was very stiff as well. She wasn't good.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of bad acting surrounded by some of the best actors. That's the thing. And then there's scenes with this Johnny guy is having scenes with Rod Steiger and Christopher Walken,
and
I'm like,
Chas Palminteri.
Yeah.
Like there's a mantra he repeats a couple, like it's a canned piece of dialogue he repeats, or it's like, oh, did I stutter? Oh, this place got quiet all of a sudden. A minute ago it was loud as a fill in the blank with a racial thing. But now it's quiet as a church. And he says it two different times. He says it once when he's in a pool hall full of Glenn Plummer and his associates, and he says it was as loud as a show at the Apollo, because this film opens with him being incredibly racist.
This film is not good to black people.
No, this movie is very racist.
The only black characters that are in it just show up to be violent and leave when the violence isn't needed anymore.
Right. They're violent thugs ruled completely by emotion.
Yes, they are not. It is.
They are essentially attack dogs.
Yes,
and that's how Glenn Plummer and the rest of his friends are treated in this film. They endure a number of racial slurs and just racial epithets from our main character in the first scene, and then they're like, hey, but we were on his side the whole time because we were really trying to fleece you, Chaz Palminteri. And then they come back at the end to just like be violent, like thoughtless thugs against Chaz Palminteri once again. It's like, this movie is incredibly racist.
It reminds me of In Death to Smoochie, how there's, I think, the Irish mob.
Yeah.
And they're like there to dole out punishment. But it's punishment that it's like the producers or the audience want to see, but they don't want the main character to get their hands dirty. So they have to give it over to another group. And in this, since it's the only black characters, it really stands out as just being extremely racist.
And it's also like it's written and presented in a way that's like, you know what's really scary? A bunch of black guys.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it's presented in this. I fucking hated this movie, Dave. Well, every second of this film I hated.
Again, I didn't hate this movie, but I wouldn't recommend it.
No, it's a terrible movie. My God.
I guess I should explain where the charm comes from for me. And that is almost entirely watching Rod Steiger, who I love, and Christopher Walken, who I love.
Oh, Christopher Walken's great. Oh, that's right. I meant there was a thread I started earlier. There's that mantra, that canned speech that our main character Johnny Mars Callahan has about, you know, it being loud as a whatever, fill in the blank, and now it's quiet as a church. He says it 2 or 3 different times in the film, and then Chaz Palminteri says it back to him.
And he says it way better.
Right. And it's like an acting class. It's like, oh, here's how an actor would deliver that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like a million times better. Oh my gosh. Rod
Steiger, by the way, he looks like he's in disguise in this film. He's wearing at all times a Yankees hat, a silver cross, which was, I don't know, and glasses, like big glasses. And
it's not even a regular silver cross. It's like the one that has 2 crossbars on. I can't. I think it's not a Celtic cross. I forget what that's called. But it's like a very specific kind of everything about his wardrobe is very specific, and yes, seems to be designed to allow him to blend in at Comic-Con or something.
Yeah, like he looks like paparazzi shots of Leonardo DiCaprio getting coffee.
Right, he looks like Undercover Boss.
Yeah,
like it's.
When he showed up in the credits, I was like, "What?" Oh man. Yeah, I wonder if part of this is these are all just because they're all like just these old white guys who I think just really enjoy pool. I know Christopher Walken made a trick shot on his first try while shooting this. Like a lot of the actors tried to do their own pool stunts, which is cool.
Yeah. Obviously, we know that Mars Callahan, the main character, is a pool guy. He's also apparently a poker guy. I looked him up. He won a bunch of money in the World Series of Poker.
Yeah, he seems like a poker guy.
He's wearing like a pinky ring. He looks like a real piece of shit.
Yeah, I like playing poker. I played, a lot. I play with people who've played professionally. I can't stand professional poker players. Like the culture, like the fucking glasses and the earbuds and like the weird callous attitude they all have, and they're all just kind of shitty people. I tried to watch World Series of Poker, and it's just like I hate these people.
Right, they're like the personification of that layer of film that congeals on top of like a pot of soup if you leave it out on the stove.
Yeah,
like that's professional poker players. It's like, oh, ew, no, get this out of my house.
Yeah. They're like, I don't know, personification of like a cell phone belt clip. Like, like I don't know if that makes sense, but it does in my mind. And like, there's supposed to be an inherent scumminess to being like a professional gambler, I guess. And when it's done in like this glitzy Vegas environment, there's just something about it that. I want to. And again, I love gambling. This is from someone who loves gambling.
Right. So I want to touch on that. So like it's called Poolhall Junkies. The idea is that all the characters are pool hustlers, and you just talked about how much you love gambling and stuff like that. All of the big gets and moments in this film are based on coercing people into making bets that are tricks.
Yes, they set it up, and I'll give the movie credit for setting up this. Like, they do a series of like
they sort of set it up.
Well, they do. They keep establishing that these characters love doing like
they're
like
bar tricks.
Yeah, bar tricks. Where a guy's like, "Hey, I bet you I can drink these 2 glasses of beer before you drink those 2 shots." And he's like, "Sure." And he's like, "All right, here's the rules though. We can't touch each other's glasses." And he's like, "That's fine." And he's like, "Can I at least like start my beer first? You know, give me a head start."
Finish my first beer, because he has 2 beers to drink.
Right, which the guy for some reason lets him do that. I'd be like, no, the bet is you finish those 2, I finish these 2 faster. But whatever. He says yes, and he chugs the first beer and then puts the glass down over their shots. Or one of his shots. And he's like, "You can't touch my glass." And when, like... The thing about those types of bets is they're fun, like friendly bets that you go, "Oh, that's funny." I wouldn't give someone money.
No, and that's how they win. That's how they beat Chaz Palminteri in the end. He's like Johnny's in a game against Rick Schroeder, who is Chaz Palminteri's new guy.
He's the guy who's rocking that fucking turtleneck. He's killing
that turtleneck. Man, that Land's End turtleneck, he is destroying.
You guys remember that fucking Knives Out meme with Captain America's turtleneck? It's like that. It's a silver Chris Evans turtleneck. It's some serious sweater game, and Rick Schroeder is all over it. Oh, absolutely.
So he makes it, like, Rick Schroeder sets it up. There's a thing before that we're going to have to talk about, but I'm talking about the bet right now. It's like an impossible shot, and then Rick Schroeder's like, "I can't make this. I hate this." And then Johnny's like, "Well, I'll give you $5,000 if you to make that shot. I think I can make that shot." And Chaz Palminteri takes the bet. And Johnny shoots it and doesn't sink it in the pocket. He just like gets it right next to the pocket, and he's like, "Oh, you fucked up." And then Rick Schroeder goes to take a shot. He's like, No, you don't get to take your shot. I paid $5,000 to take your shot. Now it's my shot." And then they just let him do it, and he sinks the ball and wins. And it's like, no. There's like over $100,000 on the line on this game. Chaz Palminteri's a violent guy that broke his wrist already and like flashes a gun all the time. There's no fucking way he's gonna let you take $100,000 from him on a fucking bar trick. He's gonna stab you in the neck.
Well, I think what's interesting is, as someone who really liked The Hustler and The Color of Money, there's supposed to be that level of respect for the hustle. And traditionally that's the idea of, I'm going to pretend like I'm not as good as on this game, and then it'll amount to a ridiculous bet that I'll take everything on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These guys seem to have a meta hustle that's they respect also. Because that's the thing, is you're right.
They respect word games and riddles.
Right. Like, if he was playing Paul Newman in The Hustler, Paul Newman would be like, "Fuck no." Because they're betting on the game. They're not betting on the meta hustle.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yes, but in this world, and it's always funny, movies like this where it's like, you know, everybody cares so much about pool.
Everyone cares about pool in this universe.
Again, it's a Jim Cotta type of situation. It's just like, okay, I accept this is a universe where the world revolves around pool, apparently. Everybody's playing pool all the time.
Yeah.
So within the rules of it, people seem to just accept that hustle to the point that our main character gets a job by doing a bar trick.
And also gets his girlfriend a job by doing a pool shot. He's like, "No, you got to hire her on for a year." And it's like, well, no, he's just going to fire her.
Right. The pool shot thing is... I that was okay because he's not doing a weird hustle.
Right, because at least he actually like played the game and did the thing in the game. But like getting a job as an RV salesman, he's like, he goes there and he tells the guy...
Where you have to sell the RVs at night, apparently.
Right, in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the fucking night. Anyway.
Where he's like, "I bet I can tell you where you got your shoes." And he's like, "All right." And it's like if I win, you got to give me this job. And if you win, I forget what he says if he wins.
I don't know, he'll blow him.
"All right, but I got these on a cruise ship in the Caribbean. You're never going to guess where I got them." He's like, "Well, yeah, but the bet was I didn't guess where you bought them. I guess where you got them, and you got them on your feet." And then he walks away.
And then they're just like, "Oh!" And they walk
I guess
away.
He got the job now. It's like, no, he doesn't. That guy's never going to fucking hire him.
Nothing has been put in writing. Like, it's just like, you got him on your feet. I get the job now. It's like, no, I'm going to just say, no, you don't.
Right. It's like, oh my God, I hated this movie.
There was a charm to that shit. I liked the dumb hustler aspect. Again, this movie felt like it was written by a 13-year-old. Yeah. Well, how old was this actor?
I don't know.
Because he probably was like 17 when he wrote the script.
And like every joke they tell in the movie is like the oldest dad joke.
Yeah, well, a lot of the side cast, his like gang of friends, I was like, man, I don't need any of these people in here.
No, and they try to do a Tarantino scene, and they go to this diner like 5 different times.
Yeah.
And like 3 of the times they forgot to change their wardrobe, even though it's on different days. Did you notice that?
No. I'm not surprised by it.
They go there several times, and like on 2 or 3 of the times, they're all wearing the same clothes as the previous times, and they're supposed to be on different days. One of the guys is like starts talking about it's very much like the Like a Virgin conversation from Reservoir Dogs, where he's like, oh, did you know like the average American male penis
you're right.
size
that
is like 6 inches, and the average American woman's vaginal canal depth is like 8 inches. So, and then he's like, and that's you multiply that by the population of America, and there's like 1 billion miles of untapped virgin pussy in America, and it's like this. Wow, you're trying to be like clever and funny and edgy, and you're just being dumb, and I want to turn this movie off, and I hate everybody in this movie.
This scene really confused me, because I thought he was trying to, like, he was setting up a joke. Like it was like, that's the punchline of a silly joke, and then the
filmmakers certainly thought it was funny.
Well, no. What I mean is the character is like, I'm going to tell a weird, gross joke to my friends. But then what happened is after he says that, they're like, really? You did the math? And they don't seem to understand it's a joke. Like in the movie, the characters are like, oh, you're full of crazy information.
Well, he doesn't present it like a joke. He presents it like it's like he's having this like brilliant thought that nobody else has had. And it's like no, you're a fucking child. This is stupid. You're stupid. All of you are stupid. I hate you all.
I want to break this down, because I don't understand then what his point is, because is he implying that in order
there is no point.
Okay, is he implying that he's going to, I don't know, kill women and cut out the excess canal area?
Or like add more to his dick? Like there's no...
is he going to... Or is he going to kill a guy and like steal their dick and sew it onto his? I'm not sure. Because again, if it's like presented as like, oh, it's a silly joke, he's just saying crazy shit, but they don't present it that way after he says it. No, they don't,
and he doesn't have like his only thing is point? Like, oh, there's just this amount of virgin pussy or whatever. It's like, so what's your end game? What is your end game?
And then they take the ending credits scene.
Oh my god.
Where they're paying a woman to feel her breasts. A woman who like only showed up in one scene.
She showed up in one scene.
And then they bet on if her boobs are real or fake, and it was just like, it
was gross.
Yes. This is what that reminded me of is again, going back to professional poker, there was a show on whatever garbage channel had professional poker.
It's
I don't know.
ESPN3 or some shit.
2 professional poker players, and people listening might know the names, I forget the names, decided to have their own like reality TV show. And the show was, they would walk around Vegas, and this is like, poker players love doing this. And again, it's something I love doing, is when you're playing poker, or I guess probably pool, you make a bunch of dumb side bets. You make stupid bets with your friends on like, and sometimes that'll extend to things like what drink someone's buying, or like what the waitress is going to say if you say this thing. Like sometimes they can become very meta into the area around. So this show was these 2 guys going around Vegas and making rich guy bets about random people, but that translated into 2 rich guys betting on the poor. Like that's all that was. Yeah. It was just it was one of those things, is that they didn't realize how gross it was, where they're just walking around and like asking people like, hey, how fast can you run over here, and like betting on them. And then of course they're offering the person probably like a few bucks to do the thing, and it's just like, ew, God, why would anybody want to watch this?
Yeah, it's not a good feeling.
And that's the ending where they're betting on this chick's boobs, and it's like, this is
and
these people.
They're handing her $100 bills. Like, basically what it is, it's like a post-credit scene, and they probably thought this was like a hilarious way to end the film.
Right, they really wanted it in there.
Right, there's like a line of 4 dudes, and they're just each in turn, they're all walking up, handing her a $100 bill, and feeling her breasts for a few seconds, and then they bet on whether or not they're real. So it's like, from her point of view, I get it. I'm like, yeah, I make $1,000 just to let these dummies grab my boobs for 30 seconds. Sure, like. But
no.
it's like so gross to watch.
That's the other thing is she's the most respectable character in the scene.
Right, because she's like, oh, these, fine. Like, fuck it. Yeah, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, they do a good enough job with her character that also she plays it off that way. Mm-hmm. Like, she's just sort of pitying them. And again, they're supposed to be clowns. They're supposed to be clowns.
They are supposed to be clowns.
The problem is they're not endearing clowns.
Right. I think everything they do in this movie, like, they're all scumbags, and I hate them, and I hate every decision they make, and they try to make us like them, and you just never do.
Yeah, it's the Friends in Good Will Hunting, but I mean, obviously, retrospectively, it's hard to watch them.
I was about to say, you can just put a period on that.
Yeah,
they're the Friends in Good Will Hunting.
Without the context of those actors, they do a good job at being like, oh God, it's this group of dumbass friends, and it's.
Well,
and you can kind of relate to them a little more because they're just like, oh, a bunch of jackasses from Boston, like, ripping on each other.
Right.
And they're not smart, but they're more endearing because they're not creeps. Although Casey Affleck does masturbate.
Is aggressively a creep.
Well, he's in real life for sure.
Well, in the movie too.
In the movie, he has a scene where he masturbates in a guy's baseball glove.
In the movie too, he's a creep. So it's still like, all right.
But again, the point is that they're clowns. Is that we're not. It's like this is the friends, the jackassed friends that he has to like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Leave behind, I guess. I haven't seen
I don't know. Like, he goes to like the World Series of Pool in the end. It's, oh my God.
Oh, like, this. Well, that's if you haven't seen The Color of Money in a while, that's weird because they do that as well in that where Paul Newman, I think he fights Tom Cruise in the pool. According to these pool movies, there is like an event like that.
I'm sure there is.
In this movie, when he goes to like the really high class pool players, they're all wearing tuxedos, and I was like, is that the official uniform of pool?
They're all also 70.
Yeah, which is it was weird. But they do remind me of like Paul Newman and Color of Money, and I think that's a big thing that probably tainted my enjoyment of this, and why, or at least it created my enjoyment of it, is that since I love those other movies, there's like little moments that were like reminding me of it. He takes off his jacket and he's got a shirt that says Hustler, black shirt, white letters, Hustler. That has to be a fucking nod to Tom Cruise has a shirt with his own name on it, Vince, in big white letters in The Color of Money.
Sure.
So I assume that was a reference to it. I don't know. I should just go watch The Color of Money is really like what I should do.
It sounds like the reason you liked this movie is because it reminded you of a better movie.
Yeah, I mean, again, I didn't hate this movie. I wouldn't recommend this movie. There are parts in it, specifically the pool parts, that I really enjoyed. The hustling scenes. I didn't mind the stupid bets. Like, I didn't mind that stupid, I made your shot for you. Because, it was consistent.
I minded the stupid bets because the two main ones, him getting the job as an RV salesman and him defeating Chaz Palminteri, depend on people completely outside of their sphere agreeing to these meta rules that are never established. Like, they're agreeing to like Rumpelstiltskin rules,
right?
And nobody does that.
I think this is a world where like wars are fought with pool tables. That's just the world that they live in, apparently.
Sure.
No, you're right. I mean, the RV thing is really dumb. I would say
the ending of the movie is really dumb.
See, because like, what they do is this isn't
like this
is dumb.
He beats Rick Schroeder and Chaz Palminteri not by outplaying them, but by tricking them with a weird fucking fairy tale riddle. It's the stupidest shit in the world. Chaz Palminteri would have shot him in the eye rather than give him $100,000 for a fucking riddle.
That's the rules of pool, man.
No, it isn't. No, it's not.
That's how pool's played in this universe, apparently.
My God.
At the end, Turtleneck is like walking with him, and you think Turtleneck would be pissed. And for some reason, he's just
money.
like, yeah, exactly. And at the end, he's just like, yeah, you're all right. You hustled me. And it was like, all right, well, I guess that guy got something out of this.
I didn't mind that too much because it was just like game respect game. They were just like, oh yeah, you're pretty good, man. Yeah, that was an all right fight.
I guess that's what it comes down to, and this is okay. This is a problem with this movie, is that the other movies I mentioned, again, it's hustling themed, but then it always comes down to who's actually the better player. Like, no bullshit. Once it becomes clear that, like, okay, I know you're good, you know I'm good, we're just playing. Mm-hmm. Once that becomes clear, the drama suddenly becomes just who's better.
That doesn't happen in this movie.
That's what I was going to get to. The problem is, in this movie, it's who's the better hustler, to the point that he has to meta hustle the guy. It's who can hustle the other one most.
Right. He has to Rumpelstiltskin him. He has to Wishmaster this motherfucker.
Right. And if you're doing it that way, then why not just, I don't know, kick him over and take the money?
Right. Or just kill him. Like, there's no way gangster-ass Chaz Palminteri would have been like, oh, you got me with your clever wordplay. Here's $100,000. Nope.
Apparently not. Christopher Walken,
shoot him in the fucking chest.
Christopher Walken's character is amazing. When you think about it,
he's a fairy godmother Deus Ex Machina character.
Exactly. He's the boss of the main character's girlfriend, of Johnny's girlfriend.
No. He's her uncle.
Uncle, right? Sorry. They meet up at the party. Johnny plays some cool pool, and Christopher Walken's like, I like this guy, and then he just like shows up with a suitcase full of money.
Right. Like, he shows up with a suitcase full of cash and with his girlfriend. Yeah. And then Johnny's like, oh, I'm glad you finally got here. It's like, are we too late? Nope, you're not too late. You're just in time. Oh, okay. So that's an arrangement you had that we just didn't know anything about.
Right. And then like, he gives him that. I liked his pep talk in the bathroom about the lion. Because it's Christopher Walken giving a pep talk.
It's just classic Christopher Walken talking about a lion.
And he's just like, the whole night they're doing it, he's just like drinking beers and watching. And he mentions at one point, what makes me love his character is that when they're like talking and they're upping the bet and stuff, he's just like, hey man, I'm a millionaire. So let's just do this. How much money do you have on you? How much money?
That was a great scene. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. And he's just like, what about that ring? What about this?
That was the best scene in the movie because
it's Christopher Walken.
It's Christopher Walken with Chaz Palminteri. Like, it involved actual actors.
But the reminder, because I don't think it had ever been explicitly said, where he says, hey, I'm a millionaire. It's a realization, because right now he's playing to bail his brother out of jail, who hilariously ran. Like, all right. This is
like, he rampaged into a pawn shop to try to get money.
Into a jewelry store.
Because he got hustled for $5,000.
It's really funny because they hustle him for $5,000. He runs out of the goddamn pool hall. And the next thing we see is him running into a jewelry store. And it was like, did he just run right there? And then he just starts like crazily robbing it. And then he gets arrested. So point is that the bail is like $25,000. And they're fighting to bail him out, which won't actually solve the problem because he'll still have to go to trial.
Has to go to trial, and he will be convicted of a felony. But no, there's another, like, Chaz Palminteri's going to kill him. Like, he owes him.
Right.
Like, the bet was $5,000, I think, doubled or so. I don't know. He owes him a lot of money, and he's like, he's got 24 hours or I'm going to kill him, and then he's also in jail.
The point is that Christopher Walken could have easily just lent them or given them the very small amount of money to him it would have taken to solve the problem. Mm-hmm. Instead, Walken was like, no, let's have fun. And he showed up to this seedy bar with a suitcase full of cash, unguarded. Like,
just his niece with him.
Just his niece. he's full of money.
His waifish niece.
And it's just like, hey, let's have some fun. And like, I didn't mind that because he just seemed like a bored rich guy, apparently.
Right.
Who just like
he's a maniac.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's just giving him like pep talks. Like, I thought his pep talk was gonna be, hey man, who gives a shit? I'm rich. Because that was his attitude. It was like, yeah, I'm just here for fun. Nothing's actually at stake for me. Like,
right. It's such a good scene.
Yeah.
That is really the only good scene in this movie is when Chaz Palminteri is like, he's upping the stakes. He's like, all right, enough of this bullshit. We're going to play one last time, put it all on the line. And he's like being really intimidating. And then Walken bounces back with like, hey man, this is like nothing for me. I think you're the one that's sweating. And then he starts like buying everything they have. He's like, how much money do you have in your pocket? And he looks at Rick Schroeder. He's like, how much money do you have in your pocket? It's the only good scene in the movie. Yeah, it's a great scene.
But it also slashes the stakes because
I guess we know there's nothing at stake.
Yeah, because
they're playing for $100,000, and they just established that it's nothing to Christopher Walken.
Right, and if they lose, he could still probably go to Christopher Walken and be like, "Can you bail my brother out?"
Yeah,
and he'd probably be like, "Yeah, I mean, why not?" Like that's what's funny about it is this. It's like. I think what it is the financially speaking, the backers are reversed. Like the bad guy should be the millionaire.
Right. It's really strange that the bad guy's not the millionaire.
Yes. The bad guy's the guy who could stand to lose a lot of money and who's clearly like struggling. Like obviously he's a bad guy. He's hurting people, but like he seems to be very stressed out about money all the time. And in this like horrible cycle where he just keeps getting beat up by the same guys over money.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel bad for him, but I kind of feel bad for him. Again, it's weird because you go back and watch The Hustler, you go back and watch like any like Rounders, like I'm trying to think of other gambling stuff. Like Lock, Stock has a gambling scene. It's always the underdog, financial
Stock
underdog.
Is precipitated by a gambling scene.
Oh, you're right. It's the idea is
incident.
We don't have enough money. What are we going to do? And their solution is let's get this millionaire to back us and then we'll get the money. And it's like, wait
a minute.
Just get him to give you the money.
Just get him.
You have the millionaire.
He likes you.
Yeah. So like the added stakes doesn't work of like we're doing this for money. It should have just been we're doing this to fucking out of spite. Because we're mad.
Yes.
Because we're mad boys.
Accurate.
Yeah. Oh, man. Christopher Walken.
Okay, so there's...
sorry.
Well, you can finish your thought, and then I got one big thing left to talk about.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask, that guy who plays the Greek guy who's credited as Greek...
Yes.
Is he actually Greek, or is he just a guy who pretended to be Greek?
His name was Greek.
The actor's name was Greek.
The actor's name. Yeah, I noticed in the end credits. He also said Malikos, which I recognized from playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Excellent.
Which I don't know what it means, but it seems to mean idiot or dickhead.
Okay.
So
I'm not going to question his Greekness then.
No, I won't.
Just like the accent he was putting on.
Perfectly in line with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So I'm like, that checks out.
Yeah. That's fair. What were you gonna? What's your big thing?
Okay, so the setup to the final shot where he hustles Chaz Palminteri and Rick Schroeder it's like a 3-10 split. It's like the pool version of a 3-10 split.
Yes.
And he's like, oh fuck, this is an impossible shot. And like the way he's acting, I can't tell if he's being sarcastic. Like I can't tell if he's putting it on. And then he walks over to he walks over to Rod Steiger and is like, man, this shot's impossible. And then Rod Steiger's, no, it's not. It's this thing. It's like a classic this shot. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. And then he walks back to the pool table. It's like it's the trope of the main character being like, I can't do this, and his mentor being like, yes, you can. It's a thing you've seen 100 times before. You can totally do this. And he's like, yes, you're right. And it happens in the span of about 15 seconds.
Yeah, you're right.
And I laughed out loud when it happened because it's the fucking hackiest writing and the worst acting I've ever seen of this particular trope.
Maybe they just got like a couple like more hours for Rod Steiger, and they were like, well, we got to do something with him.
Yeah.
Rod Steiger is really, I don't know. I guess he's older. He's probably not.
They never establish who he is.
Yeah, he's the guy who runs
He's
the fucking
the old
thing.
guy that owns the pool hall, but
like
we never understand what his relationship is to anyone.
Oh yeah. I think they got Rod Steiger, and I'm very curious. I hope he wasn't hurting financially. This movie cost the budget is listed as $4 million, and that just doesn't seem enough to secure Rod Steiger and Christopher Walken and all those like there's a lot of really good older actors in this, and that mystifies me.
Maybe, I don't know, they just paid them the right amount of money.
Yeah, they also all seem like the kind of actors who, like, if you're like, there'll be beer on set and like, hey, we got Rod Steiger already and then we're going to be playing pool. They'd all be like, yeah, sure, we'll take a cut. Fuck it. Like, I don't know. I could see them all being kind of interested in this plot too. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's maybe they thought they were making the next Hustler because Hustler is
right. I think around this time, people were being drawn to indie filmmakers with scripts.
That's true.
Because you never know when Harvey Keitel went all in on Reservoir Dogs.
Right. I'm just thinking about Jackie Gleason in The Hustler, where it's like,
yeah,
oh, you can be like that guy in this movie. Like you get to be like that famous guy. I don't know.
I think for a small movie like this in the late 90s.
You're right. It's probably like this could be the next Tarantino.
Exactly. They were like looking at, oh, this is a new writer-director, and he's got this kind of weird crime thing.
Yeah.
He's looking for older character actors. This could be the next Pulp Fiction. This could be the next Reservoir Dogs. Let's get in on this. And, this one wasn't because it's bad and stupid and self-indulgent and racist and generally just confusingly put together, and I hated it.
I would say it's definitely racist. It's less self-indulgent than I thought it was going to be, and it's less Tarantino than I thought it was going to be.
It's very he's always the coolest guy in the room.
Yeah, I guess he is. Remember the scene where the brother plays a concert?
Yep.
Why did that happen?
Don't know.
Who is that actor?
That's Michael Rosenbaum. That's Lex Luthor from Smallville.
Oh, is he like a guy who can like sing? And they were just like, well, let's do that.
I don't know if he can or not, because the voice he sings in is like a weird fucking Southern Muppet voice, and it's the strangest thing I ever heard. It's clear though he's the best actor of like the young guys, and it seems like he was doing a thing, and like our main guy Morris Callahan copied what he was doing, because he's like, yes. Well, we're brothers.
Well, again, they have like the exact same hair. Mm-hmm. They look there was a point in the movie where I didn't realize they were two different people, and like,
oh sure.
Yeah, maybe 30 minutes in, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, those are different guys.
Like right around when he was still a construction worker and he gets that phone call on another guy's cell phone.
Yeah,
that was very confusing.
For some reason. That scene, remember that fucking scene? Like, what did that mean? Like that scene where like his supervisor calls him in, he's like, I'm going to tell you, you're the worst construction worker, but I want you to be in charge of shipping, because you look like I heard you're a pool hustler, and you seem like a guy who could like lose a shipment now and then you and I would get to wet our beaks on that. How does that sound? He's like, You got the wrong guy, and like he walks out all cool, and I'm like, fuck you, you're a dumbass making money off of Rumpelstiltskin riddles and pool halls. Like, you're too good to do actual crime.
Also, the more I think about it, the more it is self-indulgent, because it's weird because. Maybe it's just because I didn't find the character likable, so I was just like, oh, this can't possibly be his attempt. But it is like, I'm not a bad guy. I'm just a hustler. I'm sick of people telling me what to do. I want to do things my own way. And like, I have a great girlfriend, and I remember her birthday, damn it, and everything's going great. Like, it's a little too... Like they know how a movie's structured. They know there needs to be a low point, and they do a good job with like, it breaks his hand and then he has to learn. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But there's what's missing from this and other movies that's in other movies like this is there's amount of self-pitying. There's amount like The Color of Money. There's a very much like Paul Newman's like washed up. Like there's a part with fucking fucking Last King of Scotland, Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker's in that movie, and he hustles Paul Newman. And, like, he has this part where he realizes he gets hustled. And he realizes he's, like, old and he's a victim. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know, there's lacking that self-reflection in this character, where he's just kind of cool the whole time.
Right, there's no real moment of weakness, and like every time, like
well, it's physical weakness, and that's it.
Exactly, yeah. Every time his girlfriend, like they have him, it's 2 or 3 different times. His girlfriend gets mad at him, and then he like gets to dunk on her by being like, "Well, you're mad at me for misunderstanding this grand gesture I just did for you, so you're the asshole." Like it's, my God. It's
he presents it well with the getting her a job, because I thought that he says to her like, if I win this, you hire her 1 year, no special favors. She's gonna earn it from there. And I was like, all right, I'll meet you halfway, movie. I guess he was like, look, she has to earn it,
to imply that she couldn't earn the job herself. It's right. This movie is trash. It was written by trash people. It's about trash people. It's racist.
But Tom, why did I quietly enjoy it?
Because it reminded you of The Color of Money, and The Hustler.
Yeah, I guess. And it looked like it was shot in the 90s.
It did.
It was. Maybe it was. Maybe it took a while to come out.
It might have been. Yeah,
but 2002. I refuse to believe that this is a post 9/11 film.
Nope.
The beginning credits was like very like the fadey shots and like. Mm-hmm. All right, I get the Tarantino thing. I'm wondering if he was also kind of inspired by the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon thing.
He was 100% both things.
Yeah. It's all the things. It's I'm going to be this new upcoming filmmaker.
Yeah. He's writing like Tarantino, and he's acting like a dime store Ben Affleck.
Yeah, he's got the Affleck hair. He looks like Ben Affleck in Mallrats. Like he has that hair, like the douchebag spiky hair, but it's like
right.
Yeah. Is he doing anything else? He was in the movie California.
Sure.
He's an actor. He's been in 22 movies.
That's fine.
He was in That Thing You Do.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
Who was he in That Thing You Do?
I don't know. Probably a guy who plays pool. I don't know. He has 2 movies that might be coming out.
Nah.
Oh, I don't think they're movies, actually.
No, I'm all set.
Oh, no. These don't look good.
No, I'm sure they don't.
I don't know. They look very indie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can we be done? Can we be done now?
Hold on. I'm looking this guy up some more. He did a movie called What Love Is with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Matthew Lillard and Sean Austin.
Oh, ooh, okay.
Yeah. I guess we can be done. All right.
That's
I'm trying to think. Do I have any other? Do I have any? I guess, like I said, I didn't hate this going through. I wasn't mad, but I did leave this movie thinking, I'm not gonna recommend this to anybody.
No.
Like I can't in good conscience, and especially the ridiculous racism. Like I can almost forgive the stupidness but then the racism is kind of unforgivable, or it's definitely unforgivable.
It's racist. It's sexist. It's like it's mean spirited. It's like such a vindictive, quote unquote cool guy white dude's movie. Like I hate this film. Mm-hmm. I hate it. Like,
what if you watched it again?
I'm never watching it again.
What if you watch again? You're like, oh, I get it now.
Like at least
it's a meta hustle. I see it all.
Like it has a very Boondock Saints vibe, and Boondock Saints is very it's I don't know, like
Boondock Saints is the ultimate. I'm 14 and this is amazing.
Yes,
and then you get older and you're like, no, wait, no, it's not.
There's an earnestness to it though that's like you can forgive because this is kind of adorable, and they're trying to be progressive by giving you a gay character, but he's a cartoonish gay character. Like it's clearly a gay character written by somebody who has never interacted with anyone from the gay community.
And then it doesn't help that it's Willem Dafoe, who is also just a cartoonish human.
Right, he's
on
Willem
top
Dafoe.
of it. Yeah,
like he's a reanimated skeleton. He's the best, but he's gonna act like a reanimated skeleton.
Fucking Rod Steiger in this, I can't believe it.
Steiger,
his career. He's got a real weird career, that one.
I'm sure he is, but I got to tell you, Dave, I'm done. Let's be done. Let's be done. We're not talking about Rod Steiger anymore.
Who's Ernie Reyes Jr.? Was he in this?
Yeah, he was. He was one of the gang.
Oh, okay. That is. I was going through why Neil Miller recommended this to us, and it looks like it's based solely around the presence of Ernie Reyes Jr.
It's weird that he's in this, but that's fine. There was a point where it's like in the final pool game, they keep coming. Like it turns out that Ernie Reyes, who just went off to join the pro circuit, has been secretly funneling him cash to keep competing against Rick Schroeder, and he comes out there and yells at him. And like there was a point where I said aloud to the screen where he's like walking back inside. It's like, these guys are going to eat me alive. I'm just like, no, just let Ernie go beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Ernie can beat the shit out of 98% of the people on the planet. Just let him go in there and do it.
Yeah, you're right. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken just pays them all off.
Like, give him a pool cue. He won't be shooting pool with it, but like...
Yeah, he'll be doing something cool with it.
He was in the Donatello suit in the first Ninja Turtles movie.
Right, he was.
Yeah, like, he's...
That was Ernie Reyes Jr. I didn't even fucking recognize him.
Yeah, he plays Keno in Turtles 2.
Yeah. Who is a insufferable character.
Right, but he's amazing because he's Ernie Reyes Jr.
Sure. Yeah, he can kung fu and stuff.
He sure can.
But he's also going to, like, just be a real creep. Creep to women.
He is pretty creepy, yeah. Anyway, can we be done?
I guess, Tom,
Please, Lord Jesus, can we be done with this movie?
How did you know?
How
did you know I was Jesus?
Again. I suspected.
Yeah. I'm back, guys. I'm back.
Yeah, it was that.
This is what I wanted to do. I came back and I was like, I want a podcast. That's all. I'm Jesus Christ. I'm here to podcast. Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks to Neil Miller.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Yes, and thanks for Neil Miller.
Yeah, sorry if you loved this movie, Neil Miller. If you do, I would suggest going back and giving it a second look.
You paid us for our opinion, and here it is.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, he paid us to watch the movie. He didn't pay us to like the movie.
Correct.
They know how this goes.
Yeah, and that's a tier you can get on our Patreon. Dave, why don't you tell them about that?
I guess we have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have a tier where it's the We Just Watch tier. You make us watch stuff and we watch it and then we talk about it. We also have exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. We have a new tier where you can be a Hypecast producer and you get a shout out. You get a shout out on Hypecast. You get like merch. It's great.
And mail.
Yeah,
mail.
Maybe
send
one
you mail.
Maybe one lucky person will be mailed just the DVD of Poolhall Junkies.
Another lucky person might be mailed the Region 2 DVD of Poolhall Junkies. We'll see.
Yes,
autographed by me.
Oh my God, we're doing that, Tom.
Yeah, now we have to.
Yeah. Are we done?
No, we got a store, tpublic.com/store/gamefullyunemployed. We just added a brand new Where's Bane design by Starlene Hodge. It's great and amazing. If you're a fan of Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, it's a design that you've been waiting a year for, and now it's here, but it was worth the wait because it's great and incredible. You can also get other t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, anything you want that's in our supply. You can take it and make it in your house that belongs to you. That was a sentence.
It was a sentence. It was was sentence adjacent.
Yeah, it was like next to it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Tom, I got a haircut, by the way.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I feel great. It's a real white guy haircut.
Oh yeah, it's like Rick Schroeder's haircut in this movie.
Yeah, I was like, give me the Pete Buttigieg, and they're like, here you go.
Give me the Ricky Schroeder. Give me the silver. Give me the silver spoons.
Yeah, it's great. I feel great.